Hello again. This is the podcast, Have You Seen It? Thanks for joining. Today we're going to be reviewing Mickey 17. My name is Adam.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Dan.
And before we dive into everything, I think we're going to start with the trivia question. Which one of you guys, or should I do mine?
How about you do yours
Do
first,
mine?
Adam?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, my trivia question. In the movie, Mickey and his friend Timo are running from a loan shark after failing to pay back a loan for what business venture? Think about it. Don't shout it out yet. I'm not going to give any choices because you guys just watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you saw it yesterday too,
I
Jared?
did, yeah.
Hey, Tuesday movie nights.
Yep. It's cheaper at the theater near my house, so it's like I go on Tuesdays.
Mm.
God, why am I blanking on it?
I know.
Do you
I
know
think
it?
I know what it is.
Okay.
I think I remember.
Give Dan a second. Give the audience a second.
Yeah, I don't know. Jared, you should shout it out.
Was it macaroons?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a macaroon store? Or
Yeah,
something?
exactly.
What did the shirt say again?
I don't know if they're
Macaroons are not a sin.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
You guys
hilarious.
like macaroons?
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
a lot of
enjoy them.
flavors.
I never get them except like at like corporate events.
Yeah. All right.
So tell us a little bit about the movie, Adam.
Well, actually, we've been switching up and we've been doing more of like what have we been watching before we dive in. So I'm gonna pull up my Letterbox and remind myself what I've been watching. But have you guys been watching anything?
I haven't really been watching movies lately, so I have nothing to add. Just been watching TV shows. White Lotus is in full swing. Severance just wrapped up. Just saw this new Netflix series called Adolescence, which is this 4-episode, 1 hour long each, and each episode is shot in a single take, a true single take. And it's this like 16-year-old kid. It's his first time ever acting, and the first time he ever acted was like the 3rd episode, which was like his biggest, most difficult role, and he nailed it. And it's shocking that he never acted before. So
Cool.
It's a pretty good show. I don't know. It's very slow. But
You said it was like a kind of a crime. Not really.
I mean, it's more of this like drama, like just watching this family grapple with this accusation, which we find out what happens at the end of their son murdering his classmate, this like 13-year-old boy who murders his classmate. And we just see every episode is like this little look into a moment in time during these events and how the family's dealing with it, how the kid himself is dealing with it, how classmates are dealing with it. Very interesting concept, but no movies.
What's so you said Severance, you said White Lotus, and Adolescence. What's your favorite of those three?
Severance, definitely.
By far?
Yeah, definitely.
I've been watching Severance as well. Great show. Really sad that it's already done and that we have to wait for season 3, which got greenlit, thankfully, but now we got to wait for them to make it.
Yeah, another 2 years of painstaking waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, I thought season 2 was really good. I think I like season 1 better than 2, but I like a lot of the ideas and the direction it's going.
My biggest disappointment of Severance, this is not a spoiler alert, but we didn't learn what the goats are for.
Right.
Tell us what the goats are.
That's all we need to know.
Anything else, Jared?
Oh, that's basically it. Yeah.
Well, I know you had one that we both watched,
Was it?
Companion.
Oh yeah, I did watch Companion.
We
You're
both
right.
watched
Thanks for the
Companion.
reminder. Yeah, I did.
Which you liked, right?
I did. Yeah, Companion was awesome.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Like the trailer gives away a lot.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the trailer, I'd recommend not watching the trailer before you go in to watch the movie. I feel like it'd be even more fun if you didn't know anything going in.
Yeah, but I won't spoil anything. But the gist is like a couple. They go to a cabin with some friends, and I mean it gets violent and some things happen, but it is very kind of like reveal, twisty. It's a comedy, but it's a dark comedy, very dark, very violent. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think you're saying like to compare it to another movie like Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, right,
kind of has like that vibe. Maybe not quite as like
it's not as funny.
Not as funny, but yeah.
Never heard of that film.
Yeah, but Companion was really good. I was very impressed with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it too.
Yeah. Just a couple other ones I'll throw out here. So just for this podcast, I was trying to watch a bunch of Bong Joon-ho movies that I hadn't seen.
Oh,
nice.
So I watched The Host is his I think is kind of like his big debut, which is basically just a monster
film, right?
flick.
Yeah.
But it was good. There was a lot more than just a monster flick going. That was kind of like the background. It was more about the family and like the daughter gets taken and the family's trying to save it. It was good. It was entertaining. It was okay. It wasn't that amazing, but it was solid. And then I watched Okja, which is very similar in tone to this one, like even more so comical and like cartoony, which is basically about like this mythical animal that farmer girl is like her pet basically, and they're trying to like take it and kill it, and it's like supposed to be the best food ever. Very like veganism and don't kill animals, that sort of a thing. It was good also, but the comedy was way too crazy. It was like ridiculous, and I was like, it's got Jake Gyllenhaal. It's got a lot of big people, and Jake Gyllenhaal's character is so ridiculous that it was too much. I could not do it. And that's about it. We watched Ocean's 11 rewatch.
Wait, he directed that movie?
No. This is now just
unrelated. Unrelated.
That would be awesome.
Plot twist.
Yeah. So that one's always good. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
By the way, we forgot Jessica's not on the podcast
yeah.
today.
That's right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she has a lot of work, was not able to make it. She did watch the movie with me yesterday. So I can, maybe I didn't ask her what she thought. I mean, I think we had a general feeling.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe at the end, tell us what she thought. Yeah. Cool. Let's do another trivia. I can't remember when we do these, but let's do them again.
Jared, you wanna throw yours in?
I can go for one. Yeah. So my trivia question is the planet in the film, which is called Niflheim, something like that.
Niflheim.
Niflheim, is it actually?
It is Niflheim.
Okay, Niflheim. I can't even remember. So the planet Niflheim, the name comes from what mythology?
Oh, I think I know.
Well, I already know because this is my.
You already
trivia.
know, so you don't get to answer.
Are you gonna give a multiple choice?
So I've got,
wait, let me see if I can get it without.
Because
I think because it sounds
if you remember
familiar. My guess would be Norse mythology.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I feel like I like Norse mythology.
It sounds like Norse
it
mythology,
does too,
right?
but I like mythology, and I really like Norse mythology, so that does sound familiar.
So it's in Norse mythology, it's the realm in a permanent state of winter.
Oh,
the afterlife.
That makes sense.
The afterlife for those who do not die a heroic death.
So it's the opposite of Valhalla.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So
I like that.
I don't know about you guys, but during the whole movie, every time they said Niflheim, I thought it was a made-up name that was supposed to be a play on like Nympho. Or something like that, because the main guy's like whole thing is we're gonna come to this planet and we're gonna populate and have tons of sex. So, like I thought it was a play on words. I didn't realize it was actually.
It's actually like a real place.
No, I didn't think that.
Made up place.
Made up place. Yeah.
Right. Great. Okay, so let's get into the main review for Mickey 17. So a little background info. Director Bong Joon-ho, who directed Parasite, which won Best Picture, right? Best Picture.
You just took my trivia. That was what I was pivoting.
That was the we'll come up with something else. Sorry, stole that from you. Starring Robert Pattinson, Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette, and a bunch of other people, but those are like the biggest names.
Yeah.
Production for this, the budget was $118 million. Which it's not gigantic. Twisters was $155 million for comparison. Earning, it's only earned $110 million back. So not great, really. And I read somewhere it said they needed to gross $240 to $300 million to really start making money on it.
Well, you know, it's only been out for 3 weeks, so
yeah.
they got time.
But I do think in general the reception hasn't been great on it, or maybe not as good as they wanted it to be. But synopsis: a disposable employee is sent on a human expedition to colonize the ice world Niflheim. After one iteration dies, and I'm about to spoil it. I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna read the rest of it.
Here, I got the log line.
You got
Mickey 17, known as an expendable, goes on a dangerous journey to colonize an ice planet.
There you go. Okay. I didn't read this before. I didn't realize it spoiled it. Sorry. So yeah, that's what it is. We're gonna do general thoughts, and do we want to go into spoilers, or do we feel like? I mean, we can do spoilers kind of at the end.
Yeah, we can do spoilers.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know if there's a ton that we would need to spoil, but
Yeah.
Who wants to start with general thoughts?
I can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
go for it, Jared.
So yeah, just saw it last night, so pretty fresh in my mind. Overall, very mixed on the film as a whole. I like the story a lot. I like where they were going with a lot of different like subplots. I feel like a lot of there was a lot going on, like subplot wise in this film, and I feel like a lot of it was a little bit underdeveloped or just didn't quite like reach the level where it needed to make it work. So for me, like there was some funny moments. I liked Robert Pattinson a lot. He really carried the film. Liked the concept a lot, but for me, didn't quite work out in the end.
I feel like I've got similar reactions. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe this is lack of preparation, but I didn't necessarily know what to expect from Mickey 17. I watched the trailer. I thought this was going to be like a much more comical piece. I didn't realize it was going to be this like full-on satirical, somewhat parody-esque movie. And it just felt like it didn't feel like it was too serious to be like funny and land some of this like parody satire, but too satirical to, I don't know. It wasn't really working for me a whole lot. It was
the tone of it.
It was an interesting theory, but it just felt like this weird concoction, this weird blend of a whole bunch of different things. And it didn't feel really stand out in any one of them, I guess. That was my overall reaction. So, some funny moments, but it wasn't hilarious. And a lot of it was like, okay. And this, like, the whole premise of cloning, I just felt like also didn't. It became a side plot. Like it was like presenting itself as the main purpose of the film, and then all of a sudden, like, it's sidelined for the entire film until the very end, and it was like, oh, okay, so this is about cloning and ethics, or I don't know. So
yeah,
anyway.
no, that's a good point. We should dive into that deeper. But so first of all, I have to give a premise, or not a premise. What is it? What's preface.
Yeah.
This is one of the weirdest theater experiences that I've ever had. It was, first of all, this was the night it was open, so it was a full theater. And they were to the point where they were putting chairs behind us. We were in the back row. They were putting chairs behind us so people could sit in the chairs, because there's always there's one seat between people. But if you come with two people, you don't want to split up. So they literally pulled out chairs to sit behind us. And my crowd thought this movie was hilarious.
Really?
So funny.
Yeah.
It was so interesting because there was laughter on every single thing, and some people would laugh at this, some people would laugh at this, some people would laugh at this. I would laugh at a couple things.
Yeah.
And there was two women in front of us who had to be high as a kite because they laughed at every single thing. And it to the point where it was ruining it a little bit for me. I was just like, oh my God, that's not supposed to be funny.
Oh no.
So, but I wonder if that did play a part in because I liked it better than you guys. And it just everybody in the theater seemed like they were just loving it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that had
a the energy of the crowd maybe helped your experience a little bit.
Yeah. So
that is so interesting that you say it. That's the interesting part about watching it in a theater is you get an audience reaction. Well, unless you go on a Tuesday evening, right? And there's you and Jared.
We're the only ones there.
But like it does make the experience different. I have gone into, like, for example, going into theater or like the theater plays, right? If I was just watching some of those by myself, like I wouldn't be laughing nearly as much. But you know, when other people start to laugh, it almost like, I don't know, grants permission to be like, oh, yeah, that is funny, or I don't know, like it enhances some of those moments.
Yeah,
so.
Some of the like Shakespeare plays are just hilarious when you see them actually like perform versus like we read them in middle school or high school or whatever. It's like, like the comedy lands so much more when it's being performed. You're there with an audience.
And I thought the film was as funny as I needed it to be. I was not laughing. I was laughing every 15 minutes or so. Yeah. But that's all I wanted. Like, I felt like it did fine for what I was looking for. But in general, I liked it. I like his filmmaking because it always feels, to me, it feels unique and different. And he's always got something to say, which I think was the downfall to this one. He was trying to say too many things.
Agreed.
And that was the biggest thing I didn't like, or like that didn't quite work for me. But at the same time, I walked out of the theater saying there was a lot going on and he was trying to say a lot, but I don't know. I don't know. I didn't feel bothered by it, but when I thought about it, I was like, I shouldn't have liked it as much.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So that was the biggest thing. Like, I just felt like there was too many things in play that he was trying to tackle, and we can talk about that more. But in general, I liked it. I really like Robert Pattinson's performance. I thought it was awesome. And I really liked the stuff with the cloning. I like that premise. I thought that was interesting. And I agree, it kind of pivots at the end, which I agree.
Pivots in the middle, in my opinion.
Really kind of like in the middle, and I was not as interested in what was happening with that. So this one's tough. My gut says I really like it, but when I talk about it, I'm like, oh, maybe I didn't like it as much.
The premise was so cool with the cloning. Yeah. I wish they did more with it.
Yeah, I agree. I wish they did more.
But the cloning stops after the first, 20 minutes. Yeah.
I like where they went with it. I like what they did with the cloning part of it, which you guys know I won't spoil.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree. I wish there was more to it, but I like that choice was what I'll say. But I'm really curious to read the book because
it's based on a book.
It's based on a book, and I imagine that it's not as satirical and I don't know, maybe it's satirical, but maybe it's not as funny or whatever. So I'm curious if it plays it a little bit more straight, but who knows?
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't realize it was based on a book.
It is Mickey 7, right?
Mickey 7, I think
is the name of the book.
So they added 10 more Mickeys.
They changed some things.
And probably inserted U.S. politics
a little bit more,
into it.
Maybe, again, I don't know what the tone of the book is. Well, I'm curious to find out. But cool. So that's general thoughts. We'll save the last trivia till later because we got to come up with it.
I mean, what did you guys think of the satire?
I'm not going to jump in. Somebody else talk first because
to me it seemed really on the nose.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo, I love Mark Ruffalo in a lot of movies. I couldn't do it.
Okay, so it
just wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for me, and I don't know if it's just like too soon.
Right.
Which is why it wasn't working. I don't know. It just seemed really on the nose and like very obvious of like what they were making fun of.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It some parts were funny, but it was a little too over the top and uncreative, I guess, in what they were doing with it. I wasn't a huge fan.
It's interesting because from what I've been hearing from other reviews and stuff, you guys are saying the same thing everybody else is saying.
Yeah.
I actually liked it, or I should say did not bother me. And I think part of that is because I watched a bunch of his films before this. I knew what his tone was going to be, so I knew going in exactly what it was going to be, and that's what it was. So I was a little bit more prepared for it.
It's not that it bothered me. It's more so it just didn't add a whole lot for me.
Really? See, I totally disagree with that because so let's just talk about the elephant in the room. He is playing Elon Musk and Trump put together.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I mean, for me, it just added so much more. I don't know. I was more invested in it because this is what's happening right now. So, and it's funny because the director says that, no, this was not based off of Trump at all. It was actually based off of, it was based off of maybe him and he said it was based off of a bunch of politicians that he just kind of mashed together. But I imagine maybe Mark Ruffalo was just like, oh, I'm just gonna kind of make it Trump.
Play it this way, yeah.
with the grazing.
I know. Yeah, this is a quote from him, and I agree. It's like it's pretty obvious that that's what it is. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It was crazy over the top, but I don't know. It worked for me. Maybe it was all the laughing people in the audience.
It might have been because my theater did not laugh at
really
most of the jokes.
Yeah,
which was interesting. So I didn't laugh at a lot of it. Yeah. There was like scenes like the dinner scene. That scene worked really well for me. I thought that was hilarious.
You thought the dinner scene was hilarious?
I thought that was pretty funny. My theater was laughing at some of those moments, but for the most part, it was like a lot of the jokes weren't landing.
Yeah, I felt like I was laughing less at what's the guy's name?
Mark Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
His
Ruffalo.
Kenneth Marshall was the character he played.
Yeah.
Right.
I had that written.
Yep.
But I was laughing less at his stuff and more maybe at like Robert Pattinson and some of the more like subtle lines that Mickey was throwing in. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think you guys are more what everybody's saying. For some reason, it didn't bother me. I thought it was going to, but it just, I don't know, it didn't. And then what about Toni Collette? How did you guys feel about her character? She's a little more toned down.
Yeah, a little bit more toned down.
Yeah, I thought she was funnier, to be honest.
You liked her
it wasn't
okay.
It wasn't as I don't know. It wasn't as in your face as the other guy was. So
Gotcha. So let's talk about the cloning part of it, and so it sounds like you guys liked it. I mean, I was into, again, the idea of just like printing out, like literally printing out a person, and then when they die, then you just print out another one.
Yeah.
Get rid of the body, print out another one. Like, I don't know, that idea is really interesting, and there's a lot of stuff about like classism and like nobody would do that unless you're owe a bunch of money and stuff.
Right,
So I think there is a lot to dig in about that idea that almost kind of wasn't as obvious as some of these other things that we're digging on, like talking about. So like I really did like what it was trying to say about the classism and like being disposable and so I like the premise of that for sure. But
I think it's hilarious, like the way they just intro it was. He didn't read the fine print.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Like he's like, just given his situation, he's just in such a rush to get off Earth. He's like, I'm just gonna do anything to get out of this situation.
Doesn't the woman say like really?
Yeah.
You want to do this?
Yeah.
He's like, sure, why not?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
I mean, the whole opening bit was funny, and I was like really into it, and then like and them going through different sequences and what it was, the different uses they'd have for him, and then like I just wish that would have continued to evolve a little bit more, or they would have continued to like riff off that. They didn't. They chose a different direction, but it could have been fun to see the film playing more with what it set up in the first 30 minutes.
I was feeling like I wanted to see more in depth on each of those iterations.
Yeah, just so we get to know him a little bit more.
Yeah, because I like the idea that it says like his personality changes every time, which obviously we see throughout, but like just like staying with one of them for a little bit, and then then he dies. Okay, now we're with another one, but we were mainly with Mickey 17, I guess, for the whole movie. So I would have liked to see a little bit more of that for sure. I was definitely feeling that. But what'd you guys think of his accent?
Bothered me at first, but I got used to it.
Did it? Okay.
It did bother me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was weird, but I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, I like originally was just like, interesting, but similar to you guys, I liked it.
You see, I don't even know what Robert Pattinson sounds like.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
to me, I was like, oh, that's his voice. Okay. He sounds a little dweeby, but
right. So you just thought that was actually his voice?
I just thought that was maybe his voice.
That's hilarious.
But it fit the character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's British, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is he really?
He's British. So
Yeah, he is.
Gosh,
But
those
he never
British are so good at doing American.
Yeah, no, they really are. It's pretty amazing because I don't know if I've ever heard him with his real voice in a movie.
Yeah,
I'm
with
not
his actual voice. Yeah, there's certain actors where you hear him actually talk like, what?
Yeah, definitely. What else did you guys like about it?
Yeah, for me, like the biggest positive of the film was that I didn't know last night that it was based on a book. I read that afterwards, but for me, just the fact that it's such an original idea.
Yeah.
Made it kind of stand out for me. Like we have so many sequels coming out now, and it was fun to see a movie that just has like an original idea and something new.
Is it original if it was adapted?
See, I didn't know it was based off a book.
Yeah. But to your point, we haven't seen this before,
Yeah.
and I don't know if there's anything quite in its vein, I guess, out there in cinema.
Yeah.
So it was
so unique.
it was fun having more of an original experience.
Yeah, that honestly, I think that part of it is why I'm bumping it up like a half star or even a star, just because I felt like it was just a unique experience. And I don't know, I just appreciate that nowadays. So for sure, I agree with that.
Yeah. I have seen Snowpiercer and and Parasite, of course. So going into it, having seen Snowpiercer, like there were things in the movie where it was like, oh, I can definitely tell like the director's style, like it's just so unique, but much different movie than Parasite.
Yeah,
I felt like the pacing and tone and everything are just so much different.
Yeah, very similar to Snowpiercer. I think the tone is probably the best comparison. Honestly, sci-fi, you know, and even like Tilda Swinton's in that, and she just got like a weird, crazy character.
Kind of similar vibe.
Who's Tilda?
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah. Which character is she?
She's not in this.
She was in Snowpiercer.
She's in the other one, but anyway, same tone.
Yeah.
So like I think if you like Snowpiercer, you might be more inclined to like this, but at the same time, you like Snowpiercer and you like this less. So. Yeah. Dan, anything else you liked about it?
I don't know. Nothing really stands out. Nothing stands out to me, and that was the thing. It was like, it was an enjoyable enough movie, but nothing really stood out other than like the concept, the originality. But then again, like I said, my gripe is it just didn't go in the direction that I thought was most interesting. So I kind of walked out of the theater and I was like, I don't really know how to feel about that.
Yeah.
Like, nothing was super impactful. I didn't walk away with a message where I was like, wow, colonialism, wow, you know, politics or cloning, or classism. Maybe classism is the better, like, the better, what's it called? Satire element that he was leaning into than it was cloning, since we don't have cloning nowadays. But
I mean, that's a good point. So it's like the clone stuff was about classism, at least that's my interpretation. And then the second half, which we haven't mentioned at all, which I don't really think it's spoiler if we do it, but basically there's all the creature element. There's a creature element that they're trying to basically kill and get rid of so that they can inhabit the planet. So the colonialism aspect, those are the two kind of like biggest ideas, and it is like the first half is one thing and then the second half is one thing. So it's just, I feel like he's like, I got a bunch of money because I made a hit Oscar-winning film. So I'm going to talk about everything that I feel strongly about. And that's kind of what it felt like, where it's just like, well, maybe just focus. Just focus a little bit more. But okay. What are the things, I guess, I mean, we talked about what you didn't like about it. Yeah. Anything else that you didn't like about it?
No, I think that's the biggest thing is there were just like certain plot points, like the drug smuggling and all that, where it's just like you're expecting them to go a little bit deeper into it, and just nothing really ever kind of happened.
What was the drug smuggling?
It was his buddy. Yeah.
That was nothing. Yeah, I didn't.
Nothing
I guess
really
I
happened.
didn't.
It was like kind of like a plot point second half of the movie, but then it just kind of disappeared a little bit.
It's kind of talking about like people backstabbing each other, just kind of for money. But you're right. It's just another thing that's just kind of like what I took out of it. It felt like it was just like, this feels like reality, like, or it's like it's just trying to paint a picture of like all the things that happen in real life. And so you got a little bit of that. There was like even a moment of like you know, the woman that tries to get with Robert Pattinson, and then it's like, well, that's weird, like this woman is like cuddling with another woman in every other scene, so it's like a little bit confusing about what was going on there. So it's like, okay, so they're saying something about, you know, gay marriage or gay relationship, but that's not really, it's just like in the background, so it just felt like,
and then nothing ever kind of happened.
It felt like there was just a bunch of things kind of just like these are
Yeah.
parts of our society that happen.
Sure.
So he was just trying to take like a high level, like, look at all the things. So
Right.
it was a little weird like that.
I wish it was more just slapstick comedy in a way.
You wanted it more slapstick.
Well, because I didn't think it was much more very slapstick at all. I felt like the Kenneth Marshall, the politician, whatever, like he was this caricature, but over the top. And I don't know, I didn't find him all that funny, other than maybe there is a couple of like just very funny stuff. But I just thought I would be like more like LOL. Like when I watched the movie Wolverine and Deadpool, like I was LOLing for literally half the movie. And from the trailer that I watched, I thought I was going to be laughing quite a bit from this. And it was more of just like, there were some clever chuckles that I was like, that came about in it. Yeah. But I never had a single moment where I was like laughing out loud. This is really funny. And it felt like it could have been that, but I guess that was just what I was looking for when I came into it.
Yeah, I just don't think that's his vibe. And obviously he's a Korean filmmaker, so his comedy is very Korean, which is like over the top, ridiculous. To me, that's a
fair point.
That's what when I say slapstick, I guess that's what I would say. But because like I wouldn't call Deadpool and Wolverine slapstick. That's more generic comedy. Like every line is supposed to be funny, but here that doesn't matter. But yeah, it feels kind of like a Korean film or like an Asian film, because Japanese is kind of similar to that too. But it doesn't translate that well with American audiences, I don't think. And I think that's maybe what's missing. But one thing I really liked, I like the idea of taking a bunch of people and bringing them, up into space and living in, a ship and then colonizing a planet, because that's like, we're talking about that right now.
Right.
And so I like that idea, and I like seeing that play out and like what's happening with that. And it also just feels like a cult, which is, I like that aspect of like, he kind of walks in and I just is giving his speech and everybody's like, yeah. And they're just so
very
behind
much
it.
like MAGA, like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, they have
a Trump lost the election and took all of his MAGA followers
left Earth
to colonize, a different planet.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that aspect of just that, like seeing how that plays out. I definitely like that. I like the stuff like with his girlfriend, and I thought she did a good job.
I mean, I think she did a good job too. I don't know if I've seen her in anything else, or if that was
I don't recognize her.
One of her bigger breakout moments, but she did a really good job with what was the character's name again? Starts with an N, right?
It's a Jared question.
Nasha. Yeah. I really liked Nasha, whatever her character's name was, or real actress's name was, and Robert Pattinson and their interaction. And I mean, Robert Pattinson, I liked him. He was a very solid actor, and I think really helped deliver what the film was looking for. So
I think Robert Pattinson is probably like the top up and coming actor in my mind right now.
Oh, interesting.
Because he's done so many good things lately. He did
The
Batman most recently. He did Lighthouse. He did, what was it, Good Times, which, did you ever see that one?
No, I didn't. Okay. He's just going for all the all the crazy characters.
All the weird ones. Yeah, I mean, Batman less so, but he's putting his spin on it.
Yeah.
I think he's doing a really good job. I can't think of anybody on the male side of things that is younger that's really competing with him. I don't know. Can you guys? Like, who else is really getting all these roles? I don't know.
Maybe Timothy Chalamet.
I was going to say Timothy Chalamet too is
for sure. Yep. No, that's a good.
But he's even younger. I mean, he's like what, 10 years younger? Yeah,
that's true. He's like Gen Z, and I assume Robert Pattinson's more millennial. But
right.
I mean, that's a good point. Robert Pattinson is probably in his mid 30s.
Yeah, he's got to be around
mid 30s, late 30s.
Yeah. So that's a good point. Timothy Chalamet also doing good, but. Yeah, I thought he was great. What did you guys think of the creatures? Because as we said, it's a big part of the movie. Like, what did you think of just like the design of it, I guess?
I like their intro scene a lot. That was kind of fun, a fun way to intro them. The design was cool. I like that they just kind of revealed information about them slowly over the film, and you kind of learn some things at the very end of the film that I don't want to spoil, but...
Yeah, well...
I like the kind of final reveal at the end.
I'm trying to think what the final reveal at the end.
Maybe we can talk about it when we talk about
Yeah,
spoilers.
okay. Because I will say I'm like 2 weeks out from this one.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like at this point we can talk about spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we want to just jump into
So
spoilers,
so at the end they basically find out that they were bluffing, that they could make their heads explode.
Right. Yeah. That's
Thought
right.
that was pretty funny.
Well, just on that note, which I'm just piecing together right now, is like it's really playing with the idea of seeing this unknown thing or creature or group of people, whatever, and just assuming that they're bad and assuming that we want to get them out, which is obviously the colonialism aspect of this. So, like, I didn't actually think about that until now, but that I feel like that was effective. Like you know, just painting that picture of like coming to a new planet and like just assuming these creatures are bad. But no, they weren't bad. They were.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like Christopher Columbus and
Right.
and Native
Exactly.
Americans. And,
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean,
I like the creatures. They were cute. As cute as one could be.
Right.
I don't know. They were
Cute
they were like oddly cute.
no, yeah, they
Gross.
were for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked for me. It was a little bit weird how like big of a role that was
became.
unexpected to me. How they would become such an important part at the very end, but it was kind of cool, like how they all started swarming together at the
Yeah.
end. and
Cool
how it all
visual
came together.
design.
Yeah, just the battle or whatever at the end. Yeah, so I'm trying to remember because again I'm a little removed from this, but like, so they get introduced because they like take the baby, right?
Right. Yeah. So, well, first of all, one of the babies gets shot and killed, right?
No, so they
Earlier on.
take the rock. They bring the rock in.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
And
right.
they cut it open at that like big television debut thing, and then they blow up one of the babies and
Yep.
capture the other.
Yep.
Okay,
that's
that's
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then the other ones are swarming because they're trying to get the baby back. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then I'm trying to remember how it then escalates from there. It's like,
Yeah, because then, so they basically, they all end up basically in the same room with Kenneth, and he like is gonna throw the baby down the furnace, in the furnace.
Right.
Yeah. And then they do like a cyclone like you do in a pool with your friends. When you've got one of those circular pools and you just are going in a circle. and
Yeah. You're talking about the
creatures. Yeah.
The
outside.
creatures start doing like
they all get
cyclone around
very
the ship.
they all get very mad that
Yeah. So my question is, how did well, now we can spoil. There's
Yeah.
2 Mickeys in this movie.
Yep.
How did the 2 Mickeys get outside? Why did they like told them to go and kill them, right?
Yeah, so they're sending them out to basically blow them up.
Why? That's kind of weird. Oh, they're like, you're disposable, so we want you
We're
to
gonna have
do
you
it.
deal with it.
They told the Mickeys to go out there and cut off as many tails as you can.
Right, because they wanted the
Because
tails for the sauce.
The wife wanted
Yep,
tails
that's
for
right.
the sauce.
Yeah,
And-
that's right.
And then they were gonna blow them up outside
Yeah.
once that happened.
That's right.
Gotcha.
So they were strapped with explosives.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. I gotcha.
And then they were gonna poison everyone. Poison everything.
Poison everything.
Yeah, they had like
poison gas.
that they
Yeah.
developed, and that's why they were what they were testing on Mickey for so many iterations. in the
Gotcha.
beginning.
Gotcha.
There
Okay.
wasn't an airborne disease
Right.
on the planet. It was them just trying to poison.
Just
Mickey.
trying to
Yeah.
test out this poison gas.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
basically, they just want to wipe out all the creatures
Yeah. Okay.
and take their tails for sauce
Yeah. That part was like weird, and I was like,
and gross.
yeah. A little
And I
gross.
just feel like I thought those creatures were menacing. They could clearly burrow through rock. Why couldn't
Right.
they easily burrow through metal? And what was supposed to be like this diamond material, they were able to burrow in.
Yeah.
So then for it at the end to be like, oh yeah, we were bluffing. I'm like, so you weren't threatening at all. You couldn't even have done anything. But you can burrow through this rock. I don't know. I
Yeah.
thought they were just.
Well, maybe
gonna
they
start-
didn't want to. Maybe
Yeah.
that was the point of it.
Maybe.
They
Yeah,
weren't
they're
actually
friendly.
violent
Yeah.
creatures.
See,
Yeah.
this is all of these like all this stuff coming together. That was the hard part to like figure out. Okay,
It was.
what is the main purpose? What
Yeah.
Almost just trying to say too much. And I read a couple of reviews afterwards, and someone was saying online that they felt like it would have worked better as a mini series where you could really kind of develop some of these things a little
that
bit
would
more.
have been interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
you could spend more time on the ship, getting to know everybody a little bit more. And
Yeah, there's enough there
Yeah.
that you could make a bigger story out of it for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, interesting. So, okay, cool. Wrapping up, but I want to ask you guys about the kind of the dreams. Was it a dream sequence?
yeah,
That was kind of weird, right?
at the end.
Yeah. What's your take on that? Like,
Dude, I have no idea. I'm like, maybe he's making fun of like movies where they're like ending on cliffhangers. I don't know.
right.
Wait,
So
what dream sequence?
remember, they're like, everything's done. Kenneth, whatever his name, is dead, right? And
Yeah.
they're like sitting, and what's he supposed to do? He's
He's gonna
hit the button
detonate
to
the
detonate.
printer basically.
Oh, to detonate
Yeah.
the printer, and they're like, okay, we're not gonna clone anymore.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Then
that's
he
right.
has like this vision, but we don't know it's a vision or
Yeah.
a dream or whatever. And he's like back in the printer, and Tony Collette comes back in,
Yeah, right.
and
And
then they
yeah,
print out
they
That's
print out Kenneth.
Kenneth again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, do you have a take on this before I shout out my take?
I mean, I guess I was just like, okay, what's the point of this other than him grappling with this like fear of losing the ability to replicate himself again, or like, you know, he's so used to, if something happens to him, he comes back, and if he was like, I don't know, fearing the destruction of that, or I don't know, it didn't necessarily resonate with me.
Yeah, no, I agree, because I watched it and I was like, what? Why is that there? It felt very out of place.
Mm-hmm.
My theory is that maybe that was added later, because after Trump got elected the second time, and they're playing with that idea of like, oh, he's back, like playing with that idea of like, oh, the dictator or whatever is back.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, well, it's kind of weird, because then that's just a dream, so it didn't actually happen. Like they
Right.
could have actually just did that,
Right.
and then ended on a cliffhanger,
On a
right
cliffhanger
there,
for
and
real,
then
yeah.
it would have had more to say about like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
just because this happened once doesn't mean it could happen again. So that was
see
more of how I was thinking of it after the fact. But when I was watching it, I was like, that feels out of place. Like, what is the point of that?
Uh-huh.
So
Right.
Yeah.
another thing where it's like, I feel like he does have a lot to say about it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, it's not quite working within the realm
Within
of
the movie, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jared, what was your rating?
All right, so I gave it. I was gonna say 2.5 out of 5, but again, it's an original idea, so I give it a 3.
Oh, okay. You bumped it up.
I-
More of an original film.
I will clone your ranking and see what I did there,
Yeah.
and I'll give it a 3.
Okay. I'm still struggling with this one. I don't.
What would you have given it like right away when you walked out?
I had the same experience of like, did I like this? Did I not like this? I that was really when I walked out, I was unsure, and I thought that I would figure it out by now. I still got it in the same spot.
Yeah.
But okay, here's what I'm gonna do. This is what my gut's saying. I think if I talk about it, it's a 4, but my gut says it's a 4.5, and I'm gonna go 4.5.
4.5. Yeah.
I don't know. I just like the world. I like the characters, and yeah, it's weird, and there's too much going on, but I don't know. It didn't bother me.
Yeah,
I
It
don't
works
know.
for you.
I just
All right.
like. I don't know why. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But
Sometimes movies just work for
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
people.
yeah, exactly. So I think
Yeah.
it just
Maybe I
worked
just
for me.
need to see more of his films.
Yeah, and maybe it was the crowd.
Yeah.
Maybe if I rewatch this thing, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is
Yeah, watch it
terrible.
at home by
Yeah,
yourself.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. We do need to do one more trivia.
trivia.
Well,
If
we
we
have
came
one?
up with it, I don't know. if we came
my
up with it.
trivia was gonna be, what Oscar-winning movie did Bong Joon-ho?
Bong Joon-ho. Bong Joon-ho.
Oh, I spelt that wrong on my paper. Did he direct? And you know that was spoiled. It was Parasite.
Well,
I don't have one that I can
Here,
think of.
well, I mean, people who know his films, they'll know this. But who was, maybe Dan? Well, maybe you'll know it, but you probably won't. Who was the main character in Snowpiercer? Who was also? We'll give you a little hint. Who was also in a Marvel movie?
I mean, was he in this movie?
No, you're thinking Mark Ruffalo.
No, I was thinking Steven Yeun. What? Because isn't he in a?
I'm not aware
Maybe
of
not.
him being in a Marvel movie.
He wasn't in this movie though.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans?
Mm-hmm.
Is,
Yeah, he's in
is
Snow-
Oh, but he
He's
wasn't
in-
in this movie.
yeah, he's
oh,
in
okay.
Snowpiercer.
No. Sorry, I was talking about
Yeah,
Snowpiercer.
yeah.
I'm just connecting with Bong Joon-ho, not,
Yeah.
not his movie
Yep.
necessarily. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you guys want to say or shout out or?
No.
No, we got it.
Watch
That's a wrap.
Watch Severance, I guess.
Yeah, watch Severance.
Yeah. All right.
Give this one a watch too, and
Tell us what you think.
tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Leave a comment on our Instagram. So,
All right.
cool.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks.